One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free, then let me be free. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken, he rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he paves his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Man, it is always an interesting, Hump Day Wednesday. Great to see everyone in the chat, man. So, I had to redo everything on the aspect of, there's so many things that are left unturned right now, actually. I'm kind of bummed out here. Let me try to fix the camera a little bit. There we go. There's a lot of shit that reset overnight because my computer did a software update last night. And then for some reason, my microphone no longer worked, like with the hardware. So I was like, what the fuck is going on here? So I'm like moving shit around, unplugging shit, getting things ready, whatever. And last second, I'm like, let me go ahead and change out the microphone cord and see if that does anything. Sure as shit, I'm not really sure what happened. Maybe Lucy bit the fuck out of it. I have no idea, but great to see you guys in the chat. Hopefully you guys can hear me well, and let me know otherwise. But so we've got an interesting morning, as you guys can see, obviously. Let me go ahead and put this up as well. Okay, so we have this titled as Nancy Guthrie or Guthrie search. We do have some updates on that, as well as Trump-Netanyahu meeting is happening at 11 a.m. Eastern, which is right now, essentially it's 10 a.m. Central, so it should be happening right now, and I haven't seen it live yet, but when it does, of course, we're going to present that if we can catch that in time. But as you guys can see, there's a lot of other things that we're going to be discussing, as well as a Canadian school shooting that happened, I believe, yesterday. Or maybe even, I think it was yesterday. And then, of course, and more. Now, let me go ahead and read you guys what we're actually looking at for the chronological timeline of what we're going to be discussing this morning. So we had a few things that happened yesterday after the show that were actually pertinent and things that you guys should know. So we're going to review a couple of these things throughout the morning here. So we have a new video that came in Nancy Guthrie case released today, and it's actually the supposed person or whatever the case is. And they actually got an arrest on somebody, but let him go like a day later, or not even a day later, like 12 hours later. I'm not really sure, but we have all of that for you guys. And then we're going to be talking about what the Save America Act is. Essentially, the SAVE Act was what it was essentially meant for voter ID and stuff like that. But the Democrats fought so much against, the SAVE Act. So what they did is they actually redid another act, the same thing, basically, Save America Act, and it's to essentially try to get this pushed through Congress, essentially, right? So we're going to be discussing that a little bit this morning, as well as yesterday, there was one person detained in the Nancy Guthrie case. Now, they did end up letting him go, and of course, we have that story for you as well. Now, we're going to move over into Canada and their school shooting, what happened. At least 7 dead in British Columbia, man. That is absolutely terrible news. I hate to hear that. It says 10 people are dead, including it says at least 7 dead in the title, and then in the description it says 10 people are dead, so that must be the update, including the suspect after a shooting at a school and a home in British Columbia on Tuesday. So yes, it was yesterday. The Canadian Royal Mounted Police are investigating a shooting that took place at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School, as well as another 2 people who were found dead inside the residence. Both incidents are believed to be connected, which does make sense. Tumbler Ridge Secondary School is located in Tumbler Ridge, which is about 600 miles north of Vancouver, near the border of Alberta. In addition to the 10 people who died, another 25 were injured. Wow, dude. Oh, my God.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit!
2 people injured have life-threatening injuries. The suspect has been identified, but investigators are not releasing their identity. The shooter's motive was also unknown as of this report. All right. So anyways, that is what we're looking at for that story. That's a tragic story, obviously. And then again, on the Nancy Guthrie a search, detained suspect released after questioning. So I think they only had him for like maybe 6, maybe 8 hours, something like that. They let him go. And then we have detained man speaks out after his release. So the man that was detained and questioned, he went to the media, or the media found him and had him talk. And I haven't watched any of it yet, so we're going to find that out together. And then, of course, we do have, as of an hour ago, Trump to set a meeting, to meet. Trump is set to meet Netanyahu at the White House on Iran, and I believe that is going to be happening today. And there's going to be some meetings that go on with Netanyahu for the next, I believe, week or 2 weeks. It's something like that. I can't remember exactly how long the time frame is. And then we also have our last morning, wrap up here is FAA lifts temporary closure of El Paso airspace. So it says the Federal Aviation Administration reopened the airspace around El Paso International Airport in Texas on Wednesday morning, which is this morning, just hours after it announced a 10-day closure that would have grounded all flights to and from the airport. The FAA announced in a social media post that it has lifted the temporary closure of the airspace over El Paso, saying that there was no threat of to commercial aviation and all the flights would resume. Interesting. I'm not really sure why that even happened in the first place. But anyways, listen, let's go ahead and do our call to actions real quick, and we're going to get right into this shit. Make sure you guys come in and hit that like button. I very much appreciate it. And double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side. I very much appreciate it. I've got Lucy hair on my hat. That's typical. And listen, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, because this is what we do Monday through Friday, consolidating all of the world news, geopolitics, American politics, American news, breaking news, all of that into a single hour. We try to aim for anyways. And then members only is on Saturday mornings, man. It's like Saturday morning cartoons. You can't have a better time. Speaking of the memberships, by the way, please consider becoming a member, starting only at $3.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This does allow us to be on these airwaves as much as have these fucking lights on as well, too. So thank you guys for becoming members and staying members, man. I very much appreciate it. Little side note here, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news. The campaign trail, man, make sure you guys hit me up over there. It's actually the best way to get a hold of me one-on-one. We also have a Discord server for all of you legends. Make sure you guys go in the video description down below of any live video that we do, and it's got all the invite links and all that shit. So make sure you guys join up on that. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, we have these platforms that are scrolling around the screen. Of course, you guys can donate and insert your opinions, your voice into the conversation, and I'll read it out loud just like a super chat. And I get to have 100% of the proceeds.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit!
You know what I mean? Feels ultra good to be a G. All right, good morning to all of you legends, man. We got Virginia Chaos starting it off hot this morning, gifting out a membership. Let's fucking go, my man. I very much appreciate you not only helping me, but you're helping someone in the Breakfast Club. I very much appreciate that, my man. All right, let's see if I can scroll up quickly and say hi to you legends in here. We got Steve as well as Bosnia. Great to see you guys. We got Frank as well as Steve Posey, Gary, my man, and Charles Darwin from Down Under, and of course, Australia. Great to see you. We got TNT in the building as well. We don't want Alberta, he says. Shit. How are we doing today? We're doing all right. We recovered quickly. We had a big fuck up this morning, and that's why we started a few minutes late. But it is what it is. We only started like 4 minutes late, and I was like easily 30 minutes behind. So we made it fucking happen magically. We got Mark in the building as well. Good morning to you. Great to see you. We got Sterling as well. Good morning. We're scrolling down. We got Sick Bastard. And by the way, I have Motobomb and Carney's Ride that sent over a raid this morning from the coffee crew. I very much appreciate you guys. I'm super sorry about me starting a little late, but tech issues, it happens. Let's see here. Cartel drones. Moving our way down here. Don't look at me. What's up, man? We got Tiffany Lance as well. Good morning. And we got Lion Lily. Shout out to you. Hopefully you're enjoying the morning as well. Jimmy Mack, my man, good morning. Hardwire as well. Fantastic to have you guys in here, man. We're scrolling down. We're making sure we're going to say hi to everybody. We got Jack Talcott in the building as well. Good morning. Great to see you, and blessings all the way around. Absolutely. We got Chasing Ghost as well. Good morning. And let's see if we have almost caught up with everybody. I think it looks like that we have. Had to call BD for tech support. Yo, I got something for that.
Stop the cap.
Don't lie on my name like that. That shit would have taken him like probably 2-3 days to figure that shit out. I figured that shit out in minutes. All right, let's make that clear here. I'm just playing. All right, let's go ahead and get into the whole storyline this morning. So we're starting off, obviously, in chronological order, and there was a handful of things that happened yesterday that we do need to cover because they were pertinent stories and information and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and see what this little piece is real quick.
With you as we continue to follow this breaking news. The FBI releasing some new video of an armed subject in the Nancy Guthrie case. We've been sharing this video since the FBI released it, and we did once again want to share this with you. This is an armed subject at Nancy Guthrie's home, and the FBI Director Kash Patel taking to social media to share these photos and the videos that you're seeing right here, saying that over the past 8 days, the FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department have been working closely with our private sector partners to continue to recover any.
So this is essentially the Ring doorbell that got snagged or whatever, or Nest. I used to have Nest, actually. Let me go and back this up so we can see that little footage once more.
Guthries home, and the FBI Director Kash Patel taking to social media to share these photos and the videos that you're seeing right here, saying that over the past 8 days, the FBI...
Does he have a flashlight in his mouth or some shit? Why does he have like a single tooth glowing?
And Pima County Sheriff's Department have been working closely with our private sector partners to continue to recover any images or video footage from Nancy Guthrie's home.
Damn, Steve Posey, that fucking is crazy. I love how he gets favored over me. That's crazy.
That may have been lost, corrupted, or inaccessible due to a variety of factors, including the removal of recording devices. Meanwhile, we also wanted to share this with you as Savannah Guthrie shared this latest statement.
Yeah, this just came out yesterday, by the way. Right after we did the show yesterday, the FBI put this out. So just for context.
On Instagram, saying that someone out there recognizes this person. We believe...
What's up, Sims? Great to see you in the chat. Hopefully you're enjoying your hump day morning so far. Great to see you, Job. Very much appreciate it.
She, meaning Nancy, is still out there. Bring her home. Anyone with information, please contact 1-800-CALL-FBI or the Pima County Sheriff's Department.
That totally makes sense. Gold tooth.
At 520-351-4900. And I also wanted to...
Okay, so that's really all the update we're going to have on that. Now let's see what this is. This is actually the timeline of her disappearance. So 1:47, doorbell camera disconnects. 2:12 a.m., software detects person on camera. 2:28, Nancy's pacemaker app disconnects from phone, obviously, because, the separation from the phone and her pacemaker, you have to be in range. 11:56 a.m., it jumps now quite a few hours. Family discovers Nancy is missing. And then 12:03, 911 call made reporting Nancy is missing. Very, very interesting developments. Now, we have a couple of more updates on this whole case, so I'm not going to focus on my time right now and all of your time on that because we have more updates on this whole thing. So we're going to swiftly get through that. Now we're going to go and talk, because again, we're doing this shit in a chronological time scale here, whatever, time frame. We're going to talk now, what is the, quote, Save America Act? Now, if you guys don't know, we have something that was going through in Congress, essentially, called the SAVE Act. Well, when it kind of failed, so what they're doing is doing kind of the same thing, but now Trump's in office and has a little bit more influence and has different senators that, and House members. He's going to still try to get this passed. Now, I'm not really sure if it's going to happen because they need basically 7 Democrats to hop on the Republican side for it to pass. And it's just, I really don't think that's going to happen. Just going to be honest here. Anyways, let's go ahead and move into this whole thing. Here we go.
Thanks for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Christina Evans. Our next topic is going to take us back out there to Capitol Hill. I want to show you this live look that we have there of the Capitol building. And right now, we're going to be talking about the fact that the House Rules Committee is expected to have a hearing on the SAVE Act. And so this is a new push on Capitol Hill to pass an elections-related bill known as the Save America Act. Texas Republican Representative Chip Roy introduced the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. This bill, though, would require Americans to show proof of citizenship in person to register to vote in federal elections. And
all it is voter ID, essentially. Just voter ID, and it's a bill to make sure that voting ID is in place. That's it.
Implement photo ID requirements for voting. Though this legislation, is aimed at preventing non-citizens from casting ballots, some experts have since argued that the bill would have implications for millions of Americans who don't have access to certain documents.
Who don't have access. Stop being fucking lazy. Go order yourself a birth certificate. You can get all of these things, your social security card, all of these things you can get copies of. You know what I mean? Oh no, we just got to cater to people, millions and millions of people that don't have their fucking ID. Too fucking bad at this point, yo. We used to have oh yeah, well, we want to be inclusive and do, fuck all of that. We have standards. If you want to vote in this fucking country, you got to have a fucking ID. Simple. But, of course, the left is not having it. So this probably actually will not pass.
Documents like a passport or the birth certificate. So to talk a lot more about where this now stands ahead of today's hearing, I'd like to bring in Nathaniel Rakich with VoteBeat. Nathaniel, thanks so much for being with us here on Live Now from Fox.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's start with the very basics. Maybe folks who are familiar with the SAVE Act would know that there have been several iterations and pushes for this to get over the hump there on Capitol Hill. This isn't the first time that we're seeing these discussions sort of arise. Can you talk about this latest push backed by Chip Roy and what they're attempting to do here as far as the SAVE Act goes?
Yeah, exactly. So as you mentioned, the SAVE Act, without the America part, actually passed the House last year, and that would be a bill just to require Americans to prove their citizenship in order to register to vote. That is currently sitting with the Senate. Of course, in the Senate, there's a filibuster, which means effectively that you need 60 votes in order to pass anything. And because Republicans only have...
What's up, Chrono? Good morning to you. Happy hump day.
53 votes in the Senate, the bill has kind of been languishing there. This new bill, the Save America Act, basically represents a new push because people like Donald Trump and Elon Musk have really been harping on the citizenship issue ahead of the 2026 midterms.
And so we do know, of course, the midterms are coming up very quickly this year, and the conversation around voting, where it stands in our country, has been...
Listen, if you can't manage to get yourself a simple ID, I don't need you voting and determining my fucking fate when you're too retarded to figure out how to even get a fucking ID. That's crazy.
Stupid.
So you're going to override my fucking vote and you're the retard? Oh my God, bro. Get your shit together, people.
Happening for quite some time. And so folks also may not be aware of how things work differently in different states all across the United States. Of course, this is focusing on the federal part of the bill. Can you shed some light onto how states handle voting differently, especially
Brother KP knows the deal. Shout out to my man.
as we get closer to those midterms?
It's a good question.
Yeah, definitely. So basically, you shouldn't think about elections as just being one election that happens nationally. It's actually a series of like 10,000 elections that happen on the state and local level. And
Which he is right about that, but I do have a question for the guy.
Why are you gay?
Just asking, but you were right. You were right.
the
though.
concern that a lot of election administrators have with this bill. It's that, it creates a mandate for them to, for instance, they have to check a bunch of IDs, and a lot of workers aren't used to doing that, especially in blue states that don't already have voter ID bills. And so, they are, trying to, basically push back on that. Republicans, of course, are arguing that these requirements should be uniform across the board. And the Constitution does say that states are the ones who run elections, but Congress is also empowered to pass bills kind of governing their rules.
And so, Nathaniel, as we're thinking, not even as we're looking ahead, but also back on history, there's also been this conversation around voter ID laws.
Damn, Sterling, that comment right there wins the internet for today. Why do I need an ID to join Antifa? Oh, you're telling me they don't just allow anybody and everybody to join? Really?
Certain things that even go back to the 60s. Of course, there were major pushes there to get rid of some of those barriers.
What's up, Jack? Good morning.
To entry for
Happy hump
citizens
day.
to vote. There have been concerns about that also coinciding with somewhat of the SAVE Act and several versions of it, including the Save America Act. Can you sort of shed some light in on what we've seen in the past as far as voting restrictions and how that?
Yeah, hardwired to confirm this. When we did the major election, the presidential election here for Trump, of course, this last one, I was here in Alabama for it, so I voted in person. And there's no mail-in ballots unless you're like overseas or whatever, or not overseas. Yeah, I think it. Anyways, it's that you're in service or whatever the case is. You're disabled. And I was disabled, and I literally went with one leg to prove a point. I went on one leg. That's all I did. And I have like a knee scooter, and I showed up. I'm like, I'm fucking here. Now, that was when I was down, and I don't know if you guys remember during that time, I legitimately had a leg problem. I was bleeding from my leg, so I couldn't walk on my prosthetic leg. So I was like, well, I'm still fucking voting. You know what I mean? So I showed up, and yeah, they asked for voter ID and everything. They're like, yeah, do you have ID? Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for asking. That's actually what I said. I want to thank you for asking me for my ID.
Process goes as well as to looking ahead as well.
Yeah, so the key difference between the Save America Act, which is the bill that's currently being considered, and the SAVE Act, which is the one that already passed the House last year.
Yes, so he's going to break down basically what I just told you. I can guarantee it with what he's talking about, what the SAVE Act was compared to the Save America Act now. The SAVE Act did pass the House last year, but obviously super big problems in the Senate, right?
Is that added photo ID requirement to vote. So that's in addition to having to prove your citizenship when you register. And yeah, voter ID, that has been kind of a political football for a long time. Republicans, of course, are in favor of it. Democrats tend to be opposed to it. And Democrats' argument basically is that, it can be a burden to ask people to show an ID because a lot of people don't have ID and maybe they have to go out and get it. And maybe that costs money and time. Republicans, of course, argue that, it's, only common sense to make people show their ID and prove their identity.
It is common sense.
They are who they say they are on the voter roll when they go to vote.
All right, we do know that at least 3.8 million Americans don't have proof of citizenship documents, according to a survey that was conducted in part by the Brennan Center back in 2023. But in 2025 as well, the State Department said that the number of valid passports in circulation stood at nearly 170 million, just under half of the U.S. population. And so when it comes to some of these identity things and things that would be necessary to prove your citizenship, can you sort of walk us through what those look like and how accessible are those to average, everyday, normal Americans?
That's crazy, Steve Posey. I've never actually heard that term that motor voter. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you have the stats on hand, which is great. But yeah, a
That's right,
passport is kind of
Ghost.
the obvious way to
Facts.
prove your citizenship. It's the easiest way. But as you mentioned, about half of Americans don't have that. You can also use, a birth certificate, things like that. So yeah, but that is basically the concern is that, not necessarily, obviously Republicans, believe that you should have to prove these things. And it should be noted that in order to register to vote, you have to sign an attestation saying, yes, I'm a citizen. And that
What's up, TVT? Good morning. Great to see you in the chat, by the way. And happy freaking hump day.
is under penalty of perjury. So that's already the case. You just don't have to prove it with an election official. But basically, Republicans think that you should have to have that kind of that outside check. But the Democrats are arguing, well, sure, but a lot of people who should be able to vote aren't going to be able to get all this in time, especially if this requirement goes into effect very quickly. People might
not. What's up, my man, Virginia Chaos? And real quick, oh shit, I got a Cash App as well. Alfred Patterson, bro, I'm super sorry. I'm like fucking all discombobulated from this morning. But Alfred, I really appreciate you, bro. He sends in $4 on the Cash App, and he says, "Money me, money now." I agree. Thank you very much for that, bro. Now, here we go, because we haven't even done the money part yet. So, he's right.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
Shit. But it's facts, though. That was truth, but, it's okay.
Denied.
All right, here we go.
Have time to get these documents in time for the elections, which, of course, are coming up.
I'm right. And speaking of Republicans who have been outspoken about this, showing you this live look that we have there of the White House. It was just last week that President Trump wrote on Truth Social that he would like to see changes to voting, as well as saying no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. And again, that is another concern that President Trump has asked for this to go through on the Senate and House side. Again, Democrats also very outspoken.
Why would you assume that nobody fucking cares? Everybody fucking cares.
Against this, do we see that there is likely going to be any change as they're continuing to have these hearings? That one just getting underway right now on Capitol Hill. These conversations still going on between both parties.
Yeah, I think this is an issue on which both parties are just really dug in, and there's probably not going to be any progress.
Did you ask something in particular, TVT? I probably didn't read it completely. So,
as you mentioned, kind of Donald Trump has been really interested in the idea of locking down elections for a long time. He's been he's very concerned about voter fraud, which he incorrectly, I should add, blames for his loss in the 2020 election.
Right. Real quick, we got Tootie Bug as well. We already know this aspect of this whole thing, so we don't need to go over stuff that we already know here. What he's reiterating there at the very end. But I thought that was a clear breakdown of what the SAVE Act was and what the Save America Act is now. So anyways, let's go ahead and move on. We got one person detained in Nancy Guthrie case. Now, this did happen yesterday. Now, this guy was held for, I don't know, a matter of 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, something like that, and they released him. So I have the update on both of these things. So I'm going to show both, of course. But first, let's go ahead and do this whole thing. And then we're going to get into the Canadian school shooting, which was terrible. Fucking just absolutely devastating. Okay, here we go.
All right, you're watching live now. I'm Austin Westfall. Let's stick with this Nancy Guthrie story. We are hearing a person...
And we're not going to play this whole thing, by the way. We're going to get as much factual information we can from the whole thing, and we're not going to sit here and have speculation talk and any of that shit.
Being detained in custody for questioning. Guthrie herself has not been found.
Yo, Jimmy Mac, real quick before he reads what Michael Ruse said. Jimmy Mac sending in $5 saying, ID required to buy a pack of cigarettes here in Toledo area. Absolutely. I think it's common. Well, not just common, it's law. You have to... ID is required for any tobacco, alcohol purchases. But yeah, absolutely. That's oftentimes one of the biggest arguments is like, yo, I got to show my ID for like simple shit. You know what I mean? And when it comes down to figuring out who's going to be running our country, making laws, all of that shit, fuck, we don't need to know where you're from. We don't need to know that.
News Digital's Michael Ruiz.
So thank you for that, Jimmy Mac. Thank you, bro.
He's sent out a few tweets. Let's just go through some of what we know about this, and then we're going to be checking in with law enforcement expert Jamie Copenhaver momentarily here. So we will bring you a conversation with Jamie shortly here to talk about what this means. Here's what Michael knows so far. He says a law enforcement source tells me they have one person in custody but have not found Nancy Guthrie. So they have not found her. They're questioning this person regarding her disappearance. Michael Ruiz, by the way, is a reporter for Fox News Digital. He's well connected with this story. And by the way, a clarification here, not arrested, detained. That's how Michael puts it at this time.
Not arrested, detained.
What the timeline is.
And
here.
they detained him for questions. Okay, so let me go ahead and see if we can get any actual evidence from this whole thing other than just that. And then we've got this guy, which I do not need to hear what this fucking guy has to say. I'm sorry, dude. I don't need to hear what you've got to say. I'd like to see some sort of evidence here. Something.
The Annie Guthrie house, a lot, it's trending that they were there multiple times. Perhaps they're looking for additional DNA items to clear everyone that had contact with Nancy.
Who's that pretty redhead? I'm just asking.
That day from the family aspect. So it's just it's so fluid in motion. And unfortunately, it's unforgiving, but the FBI has to do what they're doing in order to move the.
Well, no fucking shit, Sherlock. Jesus, these people just want to get on mainstream media to be able to get their screen time or whatever, and they just will ramble. Man, I am here in and out with the information. I'm not sitting here just going down and re-kicking a fucking dead horse. All right, we're moving on. We have Canada school shooting. At least, the update is 10. 10 people are dead, including the suspect, after a shooting at a school and a home in British Columbia on Tuesday. Sorry, guys. Says this is about 600 miles north of Vancouver. Okay, so let me go ahead and pull this up for you guys. Hold on. Shit. Here we go.
Some breaking news out of Canada.
This is terrible.
British Columbia. We're hearing that a shooting at a school in British Columbia has left 8 people dead. The Associated Press reporting on this, saying a shooting at a school in BC left 8 dead, including the suspect, with 2 more people found dead at a home believed to be connected. We're learning more about this in real time. In fact, there was a news conference held moments ago from Canadian officials. Let's play this out. They're asked questions and answers over a video call.
Round out. It is, just to be clear, it is 8 people in total, including the gun person that is.
Now, this looks like a big conference online. Like, you guys can see all the people on the right side. I don't know if it's like all of the Canadian, like certain aspects of the government, police. I'm not really sure who's all over here on the right.
Deceased.
Obviously, I'm assuming some sort of officials, whatever.
So several questions there that you asked me. I'll try and remember them, Christian. As far as the deceased that are not at the school, we're still trying to determine that relationship and that connection. I don't have those details, and our first responders were security.
What's up, Lone Wolf? Great to see you in the chat.
And ensuring Tumbler Ridge citizens were safe. Now that the order is being rescinded, we'll be looking into the investigative.
I did not see the person that did this. No, I do know that on this particular thing, the Canadian government said that they're not going to give out. They know who it is, but they're not going to give out information on it. Now, that doesn't mean that shit hasn't surged up in social media and someone found it. But no, I have not seen it. We got Seymour Cannabis in the chat. My man, good morning to you. Great to see you in the building as well. Let's go ahead and light up. Cheers. All right. Feels good to be a G. Let's go.
Piece of that and trying to determine those connections. Can you repeat a couple of your other questions, please? So I'm not.
Yeah. The other questions were, just to clarify the number, there were 8 people in total found deceased. Is that correct?
So we have 9 total people deceased. We found 8 in.
What's up, Paul Kelly?
Tumbler Ridge.
So they found 8 in Tumbler Ridge, and then they found 2 in a residence.
In 2 locations, and then another was deceased during ambulatory transport to the clinic.
Okay, and none of those people are the gun person?
That includes the deceased gun person.
Okay.
So it does include, yes.
And then separately, do you know the gun person's relationship to the school?
Not at this time, no.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Shit.
Ashley Janot.
Hi. Sorry, I'm just hoping you can confirm. By my count, forgive me, it's 10 people who've died because there were the 6 found at the school plus the 1 died in the hospital, gets us to 7, plus the shooter and then the 2 found at the separate home. Doesn't that get us to 10? I just want to make sure the number is correct.
You're correct. And
Okay.
Christian, I apologize for that. The shooter was not included in that 9. It is 10 total.
Okay. And then I just want to confirm
Yeah, Steve, that's funny, dude.
Why are you gay?
that the shooter in this case, is that the same suspect that was described in the alert that was sent out into the community earlier in the day?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thomas Steele, please.
Got to unmute yourself, bud.
Hi, thanks for taking the questions. I was also just seeking to clarify the death toll, but is there a possibility?
Ghost comes out and says the shooter's name is Jesse String. Interesting, bro. Very interesting.
It could rise, or do you believe that now all the remaining victims are with non-life-threatening injuries?
Yeah, we're still triaging other victims, and I don't have updates on whether that number could rise. I'm
going to look up if I can find the person real quick.
The scene was very dramatic, and there were multiple victims that are still being cared for.
Thank you.
I've got 2 more minutes here, so I'm going to get to the next questions as quickly as I can. Gandev, please.
Yeah, thank you for this. So just to clarify, you're not able to share at this point whether the suspect was a student at the high school, whether they were an adult with maybe a past connection to the high school, and whether they had any sort of familial connection to the 2 additional victims found in the home. You can't tell us any of that right now.
We are unable to confirm that with you right now, just to make sure that we don't pass on or provide information that isn't accurate. We're still making those determinations.
Thank you.
Oh, wow, I found
2 more questions.
Andrea wow.
Wu and then Lauren Collins, please. Andrea.
Hold on. Give me a second here. All right, this is off of WION, by the way. This is the Indians news, believe it or not. Just like Arabic countries have their own, such as Al Jazeera and stuff like that. WION is Indian news. So, anyways, they are reporting it. That is your man, Jesse String, right there. Damn. Oh, man. That is trouble. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, dude. This is crazy. Bruh. Holy shit. That is uncomfortable. All right, so that's the information we got on this, guys. All right, so we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on from this. We have to move on. We have Nancy Guthrie search, detained suspect released after questioning, and then he speaks to the actual reporters or something like that. You know, they actually have a whole thing that he gets questioned on, like, or he's telling a story about him being questioned or whatever. So here we go.
To Bobby McDonald, who has been standing by, joining us now, an associate professor of practice at the University of New Haven. Bobby, a lot to get to over the past 24 hours or so, less than that, because you've joined us quite a few times talking about this case very limited information until yesterday. Well, we got that surveillance footage. But first, I want to talk about what developed overnight. So a person of interest was detained. They were released. From a law enforcement perspective, how does that work when police detain someone, but they don't move forward with an arrest?
Well, good morning. Great to be back with you again. We have a problem here that when we develop somebody as a person of interest, we're able to find them. We temporarily detain them for questioning. If we don't find enough evidence or don't get the information that's going to allow the situation to move forward, at some point that person needs to be released.
And by the way, thank you, Nomadic, for originally bringing that up, and so that I could look into that.
We must have probable cause, to arrest.
Of course, the Canadian government said, "Oh, we're not going to release the. We know exactly who it is, and we're not releasing that information."
Somebody in a particular case. So obviously, we got to a point yesterday in that 15-hour flurry since the release of the tapes yesterday. We got a little bit of legs last night with the detainment of that person and the interview thereof and the search of the house. Police just didn't find enough to keep that person in detainment or into incarceration for arrest down the road. So my guess is if the information that was generated from that person of interest is going to be fruitful, that they're probably going to surveil that person, make sure that...
Well, yeah, TVT, it doesn't fit their narrative, and they know that if they put out who this person is, it's going to go against the whole LGBTQ plus thing. You know what I mean?
That they see where he goes and who he's going to see and what he's going to be up to. But we've got to continue to go out and dig.
What's up, Are We Not, man? Good morning.
For other pieces of evidence to move this forward. It was wonderful to get that flurry yesterday because we had a period of time when everything was a little bit dry. But now we're seem to be right back where we started.
Okay, this is all cool and all. I want to hear about the fucking guy getting released. Where's this information? I'm looking. There is none. Okay, so we're not going to fucking play it then because I have a better update then. I wanted to see like an actual tweet or something. Anyways, now we've got the detained man speaks out after the release.
You were apprehended for questioning. How would you describe what happened to you?
Terrifying. Something I didn't do for something. I was being like, I felt like I was being kidnapped, bro, because they didn't tell me anything at the beginning.
And investigators showed up to this house?
You sound scared, homie.
House, or were you the one who was pulled over in the traffic stop?
I was the one that was pulled over at the traffic stop.
Where was that?
Right here on
what's up, blood logos?
Okay, and you were taken into custody at that point?
Yeah.
And you were questioned?
I was being detained.
Detained, okay.
I was detained the whole time.
Okay,
That's
where?
what they told me.
Where were they?
Well, it's sometimes I get super traction on the verticals and sometimes I don't. It's just the way it goes. If it doesn't fit their narrative or it's not some humongous story going on, then they're not going to necessarily push it. So I'm not sure exactly why, but it does happen.
Of a car.
Back of a
Miranda car, and then they moved me into a Pima County sheriff.
Were you being questioned in the car?
At the Miranda car, I was being questioned, but they only asked me for my first name, my last name, my date of birth, and my social.
Okay. What were they asking you about?
My whereabouts.
Okay.
Where do I work? Where was I? And all that. But
are you ever up in Tucson?
Yeah, I work in Tucson.
What do you do?
GLS, deliver packages.
Okay. Do you think
deliver
you might have delivered a
packages?
package to Nancy Guthrie's house?
I don't know. Might have been a possibility. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you ever deliver like Amazon packages or anything?
Well, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. So do you think you may have? Did they indicate that you might have been on her property?
You probably did think it was ice at first.
You're not sure.
Nah, they just came up. They until right now, all I know is that they show my in-law a picture of somebody wearing a mask or something, and they
What's up, Carrie? My man Rob's neighbor. Good morning.
supposedly it looked like my eyes.
Right. Okay.
That's it. That's all I know.
Okay. Jeez. How do you think they connected that case to you?
Go ask them, bro.
Okay, so
That's something you gotta ask them. I can't answer that question.
Did they take anything from your house tonight?
Nah, I don't know. All I can say
He
is
said,
they took my phone.
he said, I don't know. Jesus.
That question.
Did they take anything from your house tonight?
Nah, I don't know. All I can say is they took my phone.
Took your phone. You don't have your phone right now.
Oh, shit. I'd be pissed. Give me my fucking phone
you
back.
You heard there just a part of those comments from the man who says that they were detained by police and questioned in the case of Nancy Guthrie's disappearance.
What's up, Pablo? Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat, by the way.
Nancy first was reported missing on February 1st. She is the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. Now, this also comes as videos were released earlier on Tuesday, and they show a person wearing a ski mask and a backpack. You can see those videos released.
Which we've already seen that. We reported on that already. Okay, so now we're going to move on because we've garnished the most amount of factual stuff that we can from these situations. All right, Trump set to meet Netanyahu at White House on Iran, and this just comes out 2 hours ago. It says Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will meet President Donald Trump at the White House on Wednesday in a visit expected to center on Iran as Washington weighs diplomacy against the threat of military action and Israel pushes to shape the scope of negotiations. All right, here we go. Let me bring this up.
Right now, I want to take you out to this live look over a very snowy White House at this hour, as in just a matter of hours, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is expected to meet with President Trump at the White House as tensions continue to grow between the U.S. and Iran. The two leaders have met at least 7 times since Trump's second term began last January, and the White House says President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu are set to meet at 11 a.m. Eastern time, so we're talking about 2.5 hours from now. It's not clear if members of the media will be allowed in either before or after, and if there is any kind of joint press conference, we'll make sure to bring it to you as you can watch it here, as always, on Live Now from Fox. Want to pop this up on your screen? This is actually from the Prime Minister's social media account as he posted that photo on the left-hand side of your screen saying Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with the special envoys of the U.S. President Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. The PM and envoys Witkoff and Kushner discussed regional issues, and they provided an update on the first round of negotiations that they held with Iran just last Friday. Now, later on, just about 30 minutes from now, we expect that Netanyahu will meet with Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and then, as I mentioned, 11 a.m. Eastern time, he is set to speak with President Trump. I want to bring in Ben Cohen, senior analyst at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, directing its Rapid Response Outreach Program, joining us now live to talk about what to expect from this meeting here. Ben, thank you so much for being here with us this morning.
Good morning, Josh.
And of course, the big question I want to start off with here is kind of an overall look at this meeting itself. What is the ultimate goal of the meeting between Netanyahu and Trump? What are each hoping to get out of this?
Well, I think most immediately, the goal is to get them on the same page on both Iran and on the reconstruction of Gaza. And those are two key, I would say, existential questions for Israel. In the case of Iran, Iran remains absolutely Israel's deadliest enemy in the region, openly committed.
All right, real quick. We got my man Steve Posey in the building. Shout out for 15 fucking months, bro. I really appreciate that. It goes a long way. And he says, I don't always make it to the live, but always watch and like, man. Yeah, no, Steve, you're amazing, dude. I love it when you're like, hey, man, I missed the live, but I'm watching the playback right now. I very much appreciate you, bro. Thank you for that. And real quick, Bosnia, I really appreciate that comment, man. I very much appreciate that. Thank you for that.
To Israel's destruction, and of course,
glad to have you here in general.
Over several years, backing many of these proxies that have attacked Israel and subjected Israel to terrorism: Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, various militias in Iraq. So there's no ambiguity about Iran's intentions towards the state of Israel. And I think where Netanyahu and the broader political and military leadership in Israel will be concerned right now is that over the last 2.5 years, since the war in Gaza, triggered by the Hamas massacre on October the 7th, 2023.
Yeah, we already know all of that. Why do you need to bring all of that up? Why? Biker Babe, great to see you in the chat, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying your hump day morning so far. Let me go ahead and skip ahead here and see if we get any other updates, because I really don't have much care in the world to listen to this guy ramble on. I'd like to be able to get to an actual, point of factually what's happening today.
Either. So Iran has these fingers in various pies across the region.
Okay, yeah, cool. Now, please.
The majority of Iranians would also like to see the back of that regime. It's not clear whether this administration sees a set of conditions where that regime could survive. But these negotiations certainly suggest that this administration is willing to consider the idea of a surviving Islamic Republic, so long as it doesn't pose too much of a threat to its neighbors. And that's why, there's this imperative of addressing the ballistic missile program and addressing the support for terror proxies around the region.
And I know we can't kind of see into the future here, and you touched on this a little bit, but do you see, based on your expertise, an end to the Iranian regime anytime in the coming months or even years at this point, based on what we've seen?
I'll allow this real quick, but we're not going to listen to the whole answer.
I think that Iran is and I'm saying this on the Islamic Republic's 47th birthday. I think Iran is weaker now than at any other time since Khomeini took power in
Yeah, they're fairly divided right now with the people.
In 1979. And I think that we have had a huge opportunity over the last month. Those protests that we saw in January, they didn't come out of a vacuum. Iran has been convulsed with regular waves of protest since 2009. So we're coming on now for 16 years of more and more Iranians rising up against this regime and seeking to overthrow it. So yes, I do think that the collapse of the Iranian regime is an eminently realistic goal
or something that could happen
to aim for. But I think that also what we've learned in the last 15, 20 years is that
okay, we don't need to go down that rabbit hole. All right, moving on. I'm sorry, guys. I have a fucking tickle in my fucking throat right now. It fucking sucks. Anyways, I do have an update for you guys before we get into, we're going to do FFA or FAA lifts a temporary closure of El Paso airspace, but Pam Bondi is right now testifying at the DOJ oversight hearing right now. So there apparently was a hot exchange with Pam Bondi, and I have that clip for you guys. So it just came out. But first, we're going to do this FAA story real quick because it's brief, it's quick. And let's go ahead and do this.
Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox, and we are approaching the top of the hour on this Wednesday, February 11th, 8:55 on the East Coast and 5:55 on.
No, I haven't been coughing like that at all. It's just while I've been talking, I'm getting some sort of tickle. Fucking hate that shit. I got some water. Let me grab
My name is Josh Breslow, and I want to get you right back into some of the big top stories that we are covering here at this hour. And you're taking a live look over El Paso, Texas, as the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, is closing the airspace around El Paso International Airport for 10 days, grounding all flights to and from that airport. A notice posted on the FAA's website said the temporary flight restrictions were for, quote, special security reasons, but did not provide any additional details just yet. The airport said in an Instagram post that all flights to and from the airport would be grounded from late last night through late on February 20th, including commercial, cargo, and general aviation flights. Now, it suggested travelers contact El Paso, a border city with a population of nearly 700,000, and essentially said that this is a cross-border commerce location, but they are asking people to contact El Paso to express their concerns if they do have any. Now, I want to pop this up on your screen. This is a tweet coming in. It's a series of tweets from Representative Veronica Veronica Escobar. She is a Democrat representing Texas and said the highly consequential decision by FAA to shut down the El Paso airport for 10 days is unprecedented and has resulted in significant concern within the community. As I mentioned, a series of posts from what my office and I have been able to gather overnight and early this morning, there is no immediate threat to the community or surrounding areas. There was no advance notice provided to my office, the city of El Paso, or anyone involved in airport operations.
You know, I'm just trying to get smarter. You know what I mean? That's why I bought this, because I'm trying to be smart. Anyways.
She went on to say, we have urged the FAA to immediately lift the temporary flight restrictions placed on the El Paso area. I will continue to make information public as I learn it. No question, there are a lot of questions this morning about all of this. Philip Mann is an adjunct assistant professor at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University and an aviation safety expert, joining us now live to break down what we know and really what we don't at this point. Philip, thank you so much for taking the time to join us this morning on Live Now from Fox.
Sure.
And Philip, I wanted to start by kind of having you break down for folks out there, because this is a lot of information that's coming in. I mentioned we know a lot, and we also don't know a lot, exactly what all of this really means.
Yeah, so what this alert means, this is called a temporary flight restriction. These are usually something done around sporting events or maybe presidential movements for a few hours here and there, just to basically clear everybody out.
Be a man.
Of the airspace, so the whatever security operations going on or whatever events going on doesn't disrupt travel or doesn't become unsafe for people. In this case, basically, the FAA has just drawn a big circle around El Paso, Texas, and said nobody in, nobody out for 10 straight days. And it does affect all air travel. It affects commercial travel. It affects cargo planes. It affects general aviation, so business jets, stuff like that. It also affects all the drones. It affects everything in the air.
Yeah, literally, because, I mean, you're supposed to have your shit registered, and when you're flying drones, when there's a no-fly zone, you can't fly it. It's crazy how that shit registers with the FAA. But nonetheless, at least you guys know what's happening here. I have the update for Pam Bondi. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up for us right now. It's actually very short. It's only 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Now, while I get this going, because this is our last story for the morning, I'm going to look for somebody to raid right now. So let me go ahead. Well, actually, you know what we haven't done either? We haven't embraced our fuck-ups. And we've had some fuck-ups today, but that's just the way
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck-ups when you have tomorrow's fuck-ups to look forward to? You are a fuck-up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
True. Definite facts, by the way. Real quick, my man Virginia Chaos coming in on the Cash App as well, saying for 420, I love the number, by the way, I don't smoke tobacco, but I have an ID, Virginia Chaos. Yes, sir, very much appreciate you making it rain in the Cash App. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. Final story, and this is Pam Bondi grilled by lawmakers over Epstein files. Here we go.
To the survivors in the room, if you are willing, please stand. And if you are willing, please raise your hands if you have still not been able to meet with this Department of Justice. Please know for the record that every single survivor has raised their hand. Attorney General Bondi, you apologized to the survivors in your opening statement for what they went through at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein files and their information?
Congresswoman, you sat before Merrick Garland sat in this chair twice.
Attorney General
Twice.
Bondi,
No, can I finish my answer?
No, I'm going to reclaim my time because I asked you a specific question that I would like you to answer, which is, will you turn to the survivors? This is not about anybody that...
Are we not men? I already selected it, got it set up, and I don't even follow her. I got to follow her. I didn't know that she does her own live stream or whatever.
came before you. It is about you taking responsibility for your Department of Justice and the harm that it has done to the survivors who are standing right behind you and are waiting for you to turn to them and apologize for what your Department of Justice has done.
Members get to ask the questions, the witness gets to answer in the way they want to answer them.
Got you, Pablo.
Why are you gay?
Attorney General can
That's not accurate, Mr. Chairman.
Because she doesn't
It is
like the
my
answer.
time.
So,
Mr. Chairman,
why
I have asked
didn't she ask Merrick Garland this?
I am
twice
reclaiming
when
my
he sat in
time,
my
and when
chair?
I
will
reclaim my
continue to
time,
answer.
it is
Mr. Chairman,
Are you allowed to even reclaim your time once you hand the floor over to somebody else?
I'm not going to get in the gutter for her theatrics.
The time belongs to the time belongs to the gentlelady. The gentlelady has 17 seconds.
Thank you.
Wow, that's so stupid. That is real.
You're not going to answer this question, so let me just
Chairman,
say
I'll this. direct it to
What a
you.
massive
No, I'm
cover-up.
answering a question.
Chairman, will you restore her time? The witness is interrupting.
I'm not going to get in the gutter with this woman.
Stop the
She's
time
doing
and
theatrics.
let me have my time.
The gentlelady from Washington controls the time. The gentlelady has 17 seconds. You can proceed with your final
Thank you.
17 seconds.
What a massive cover-up this has been and continues to be. Donald Trump made the release of the Epstein files the center of his political campaign because he thought it.
No, her question is legitimate, by the way. But the way that she was acting and re-spurging after she gave the floor to Pam Bondi is a bad look. You're just to me, it looks like just a spurging lady. You
Would
know?
benefit him.
And then your point kind of gets mute because people are like, whatever,
Then you got into office, Attorney General, claimed to have a client list, only
Regular
to
order.
then say that there was no list. Your deputy, Todd Blanche, met alone with Elaine Maxwell and transferred her to a minimum security prison. And now you continue the cover-up. And I wish that you would turn around to the survivors who are standing right behind you and on a human level,
Chairman,
Chair now recognizes the chair.
and what you have done.
The time of the gentlelady expired. The gentlelady, you have no time to yield back.
Yeah,
We appreciate that. We appreciate the thought.
She says, I yield back. And he's like, you have no time to yield back. Oh, and it just became a spurt fest. And then the point kind of goes out the window, and it's just another political theater bullshit thing that we just watch happen. Anyways, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough. Obviously, I cannot do this without you guys. So listen, I'm very appreciative to be able to do this Monday through Friday, as well as Saturday morning for members only, man. We have such a good time. Listen, we're going to be back tonight, actually, on the Diamond Effect. So make sure you guys stick around for that this evening at 7:10 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then, of course, we're going to be back for more of the World's Madness tomorrow morning. That's what we do, man. So, listen, much love, honor, respect, everybody. God bless everyone. And we'll see you guys very soon. Make sure you guys stay safe out there. Much love.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit.